Hi everyone, welcome to APCA Malaysia. I'm Chef Ahmad, one of the culinary chef instructor in Academy of Pastry and Culinary Art Malaysia. So I'm going to share with you one main course recipe which will be based on duck. Alright, I'm going to use a duck from a breast part. So here I have the ingredients. I will introduce you part by part. So the first one I will introduce you is the brine duck breast. Why I choose this method? Because duck breast is a lean meat part, and it's nice to be brine, and they will basically absorb a lot of flavor and retain the moisture. And what is the brining liquid ingredients that I will use is basically I will have red onions, I have garlic, I have thyme, green peppercorn, black peppercorn, and white peppercorn. It's combination of 3 pepper here and also a dried bay leaf. Okay, so this is the ingredients that I'm going to cut them in slice. The garlic, I just going to smash them. And what I have here is just one nice duck breast here with the skin. So for the brining liquid, I have salt, water, I have honey, and also I have a red wine vinegar over here. So with this combination, I'm going to mix them, and I'm going to brine the duck breast and submerge them, and I will keep them at minimum for 4 hours. And what I have done is basically I have already brined one duck breast here overnight. So we're going to use this duck breast in the actual cooking today, and this part I will show you how is the brining liquid is made. Okay, so that is the brining part, and this is the part where I chose quinoa for the starch component. Is basically a straightforward quinoa with the puree of spinach. So this is the spinach leaf puree, which is I already done it earlier. What you need to do is just to blanch them in cold water and blend them to puree with a chicken stock. So I have cream, a chicken stock here, quinoa, and also chopped red onions and also garlic. So it's going to be a very straightforward spinach puree quinoa with brine duck breast. What we're going to do is basically is to render the skin part of the duck breast, let it be crispy, and what we want to achieve is basically at a medium doneness of duck breast, and it's going to be paired with this quinoa as a side dishes. So I will start with the brine liquid. So I'm going to mix all the liquid ingredient. First I will dissolve the salt with water. So dissolve them fully before you brine your duck breast. So add in the honey. So I choose honey, alright, to give a bit sweetness, and also I choose a red wine vinegar. Because they are not too strong in the acidity content compared to a normal regular vinegar. So for you to understand the ratio of each ingredient, salt, honey, water, and the vinegar, It's all at 1:1 ratio. So if let's say you use 200 gram of salt or 100 gram of salt, every 4 of the liquid component should be equally. So the first part I done with the liquid, and now is the bouquet garni part. So I just will squeeze some thyme here. Not an issue, you can straight away use with the stem also. Dried bay leaf. And also I have a mortar stone here. I will just add in my pepper to give a bit crush. So you just crush them. So this will help for the pepper to leach all the peppery taste. And the duck breast is ready to absorb all the flavor from them. So mix them in one mixing bowl. So crush garlic. And you can slice some onion. I'm using half of onion. Basically with this brine liquid, you can basically submerge 2 to 3 pieces of duck breast. So they are basically ready to be used. As you can see them, they are really mixed well, and the smell of onions, the garlic, the fresh cracked pepper, and also the vinegar have already come out right now. A really nice aroma. And also you will understand that this flavor will basically go through inside the meat structure of the duck breast. So what you can do is just to place them inside the mixing bowl. There is a 2-3 option here. You can basically keep them inside container. Any type of container will do, that as long that the duck breast is submerged inside the brining liquid. Or you can basically use a method of using a vacuum bag also. So as this one is done, if you see, there is a bit different over here. If you see this one starting newly brine, okay, so you can see all the liquid is still transparent, but this one they already look a bit cloudy and look like a bit translucent. Okay, it is because of some of the vinegar or salt, they already cured the blood content or the myoglobin inside the duck breast. Okay, so what is the benefit from this brining method, of this brining process? What you will achieve is basically you're going to have a very nice juicy, tender and full of moist of your meat item. So if we compare into the brining, the brine liquid into the food processing, when we do when we buy any canned product, you will see they are basically soaked inside the brine water, and they are basically fermented inside the can. So that is basically is water content and also salt only. Okay, there's no vinegar inside. But here I enhance a little bit. Okay, the brining liquid here with honey, with salt, with the bouquet garni to give a lot of aromatic flavor inside them. Okay, so this one you can just cling film them, wrap let it contact, okay, with the cling film, and you can keep in the chiller. Okay, so now I'm going to use this duck breast. Okay, what I need is to have some tissue paper. Later on, I'm going to basically pat dry them a little bit before I render the fat or the skin of the duck breast. Okay, so if you look this part, they are really nice. They change color a little bit, but when you touch them, they're slightly a bit firm on the side, okay, and soft in the center. So what I'm going to do here is just to pat dry before I render the fat or the skin slowly. So I'm going to give a bit score. And in the same time, I preheat the stove now to a medium heat. Okay, any fat when you render them, any skin when you render them, either from duck breast or either from the lamb rack, okay, always start with a low heat, or it's good to start with even a cold pan. So I'm just to score them, so this will help the skin to be more crispy and fasten the process of rendering, and also it will give you a bit on the presentation side, it will give you a nice presentation on the surface of the duck breast. With a very good sharp knife, just score the skin. So what you will have? You will have something like this before you render the fat. Alright. So render them here on the low heat pan. Okay, with a medium heat pan or less than medium, okay, render the fat or the skin of your duck breast. Let it cook slowly. Let them achieve what they're supposed to achieve, okay. Don't force them to a quick cook, but end of the result, you don't have a good result on it. So I will shift them here because I'm going to do the quinoa with this saucepan over here. So preheat them into a medium heat and add in the butter. So let the butter melt, okay, equally. So slowly, once in a while you check the breast, because honey, which is contained inside the brine liquid, also will contribute sweetness, and also it will give you a caramelization effect on the duck breast. So if you see here, some of it is already start to caramelize, and they are producing the brown sediment all over. So if you look properly, I don't use any fat, I don't use any oil at the beginning. I start with only a medium heat pan. I straight away put the duck breast on the skin side. Look at the fat that we render. Okay, this fat don't throw later on. Okay, you can use it for a lot of cooking. You can even strain them nicely. You can use and combine them into your confit ingredient. Alright, so I focus on this quinoa. So I saute the red onion. If you like more strong taste, you can use basically you can use shallot also. So I choose them the ingredient which is they have a medium or they stand in the middle of the flavor profile. Okay, so I add in garlic after sweating them. So once in a while, check, look at them, let it cook, carry on. Some of cooking method, they really need to have a good time, okay, and estimation. Let them cook nicely. We don't force them as they are a lean meat, so we need to rest them after this also. Then for this one, after you sweat the red onion and the garlic, okay, so I add in the quinoa. For those who don't know what is quinoa, so basically quinoa is in the herbaceous family. They are basically grain, alright. We use them a lot in cooking for a replacement of starch or grain, or for a healthy dishes. They are origin from South America. Okay, so add in chicken stock. They cook very fast. And the preference of this quinoa is basically it's good to eat them when they are in the al dente texture. Okay, a ratio of 1:1 water or chicken stock is good for the quinoa, because need to understand that after this we're going to finish them with the spinach puree and also the cream. Right, so look at the duck breast here. I don't want to continue more further because I don't want to have like a blackjack color. So I just want to have this browning texture. It's going to have a very nice color. So if you scrap them, basically you can listen like scrap, something like that. So it basically is crispy enough. Okay, but if you wish to continue more, so you will have a bit darker color of your duck skin. Okay. So as the quinoa is continue cooking, pre-season them at earlier stage with only a pinch of salt. So this is to help the quinoa to absorb a saltiness a little bit. So when you bite them, you will have a good combination taste, the quinoa and also the salt taste. Okay, anything is good to go with salt, but overuse of salt or overuse of any type of ingredient, right, it's overpowering certain flavor. So let it stay on their own flavor profile. Alright, so for this duck breast, I'm going to cook them in the medium doneness. So I'm not using any oven to bake them. I'm just going to finish them inside the pan itself. So I'm going to add in butter to just do a basting method a little bit, okay, and to give more crispiness. So you look at the fat content. After we render the skin, they are almost like 3 to 4 spoon over here, just from one duck, yeah. So as you see, the quinoa is cooking, and if you want to see the texture, I can show you. So they are basically just now opaque, alright, and now they have like a bit translucent. You can see them. They are basically, they have like a bit transparent texture on the side. Okay. Now I add in the cream. So to prevent the spinach from overcooked, and also to produce a very good nice green color from the spinach puree, I will add in last minute because the spinach also have been already cooked. I blanch it in advance. So I'm doing a fast basting method over here. So I just add in a bit more butter. So you pour all the fat liquid on top of the duck skin. At this moment you can add in garlic, you can add in bouquet garni if you wish. But for me it's enough flavor because it's already brine. So what we want to achieve here is basically to fasten the cooking process into a medium to a medium well texture. And I want to have a very nice crispy skin to be present. Just pour on top. So using your thermoprop, you can check the temperature inside, the core temperature of the duck breast. So if I achieve 50, I will stop because it will go into 58, 60. So I want to have them rest nicely after this. So it's at the range of 45 to 50, so maybe another few more minutes. 1 minute more, I think. So estimation or estimating your cooking time and also the doneness is very important for you. You need to understand that. And of course, for one time, you cannot mastering the skill, or you cannot estimate, but by cooking them often and with a lot of practice and skills, yes, definitely you can. So I switch off, right? Because just now it's about like 4:45. So now the cream is already reduced with the quinoa. Lastly, I will add in the spinach puree. It's going to be a very nice green color, attractive and also nice to present. So this is original or 100% from fresh spinach, so there's no coloring adding in. So finish with salt, white pepper, so I remove the duck on the tray. To stop them from keep on cooking. So I test again my core temperature of this duck. So basically now 49, 51, 53, 54, 56, 59, 63. Right? So I stop them here. I get ready my quinoa. Okay, stop them when they are still wet like this, because you need to understand by continue cooking, you basically will brown the spinach puree and it will not produce you a good green color. Plus, the quinoa will still cooking and they will absorb some of the liquid over here. Alright, so I'm done with this one. So I'm going to clear a little bit this space. Okay, so we're going to do some plating presentation over here. Okay, we already have all the component over here. As I said, it's going to be a very simple presentation on the plate. As what I concern is basically I'm more focusing into the brining method of the duck breast, and also how we bust them and what are the doneness that we want to achieve. So I'm going to pair them with a simple spinach puree quinoa as the main component, the starch component, and also some of garnish here. What I select is basically this is a tomato, right? But they are a tomato family, but they are a bit bitter. So I just want to select some of bitterness, and then they have like a bit spicy on the last touch, right? When you eat them, okay? So they call it tamarillo, right? So I have a plate here. I still need the cutting board to cut the duck breast. So what I'm waiting here basically is resting the meat. All right. So if you understand about resting meat, is really benefit for the tenderness of any type of lean meat when you rest them, as the juice will basically bounce back. When they cook, the juice will go inside, and when you rest them, it will bounce back. So it will create like a cross in and out of the juice or the myoglobin, so it will give you a tender texture. Okay, all right. So I just prepare some of the garnishing part here. Okay, look at them. They are really different structure compared to the normal tomato, and also if you see that they have like a red liquid over here. It's from the seed. So just going to use these two. Okay, this one I will keep. So I have pearl onion. I already blanched them earlier. So it's up to you, your selection. If you want to pickle them also, it's going to be a good pairing or combination. So I have a red radish, I have a spinach to represent the spinach quinoa, and I have some of the sisal leaf here, so just for garnish, right? So I'm going to use, here I have also spinach puree, but it's already blended with boiled potato. This is just a normal olive oil, and I have here basically orange oil, where we infuse them with orange skin and lemon skin, right? So what I'm going to do now is basically to plate the quinoa first. They're going to be the base in the center. So like as I said just now, stop when they are basically still liquid, because it sets very fast, and also it's still absorbing the liquid. It's really nice smell over here because of the shallot, or sorry, the red onion, the garlic was sauteed nicely. Just give a bit of pat down here, so it's nice center. By choosing your plate also, this is important thing, that choosing your plate also, it will give you a lot of impact on your plating. So I have the Chamarillo. I choose some of a fresh component to go with my meat item. Why? Because when eating them, so you will have some different texture, or some different refreshment, which is they wash and they also diluted inside your mouth, I mean on your palate, when you enjoying your meat item. Okay, look at them. This is the result from the brining method or the brining process that we done. So they are still juicy. I press this not because of I don't concern about the hygiene matter, but this is because of to show you. Look at this breast when I press. They are still very, very juicy. I will cut them about like 1 inch. As you can see here, look at them. They are still medium here to medium well. Why you cannot see there are so much red? Because they are brine. Okay, but the layer here shown that this dark breast is brine, and you're going to enjoy a really nice taste of it. Okay, right. So I select to put one in the middle, and I select to put two slightly outskirt of the plate frame, one here. So that is the spinach puree also. So I'm just going to give a bit texture. So they are not only having a puree from spinach, which is with the quinoa, but they also will have something like a bit refresh over there. Okay, so I'm going to contrast them with a little bit of color, not so much. So understand that whenever you do any type of plating, always go with odd number. This help the spinach leaf to also stand, so they will stand out. So give a lot of a fresh touch all over your plate if you want to look it lively. And also by considering the temperature during the serving is also very, very important. So I need a bit of a tissue paper here. It's because of the duck still produce the juice here. So what I'm going to do is just to sprinkle a bit salt on top of the duck breast, and also an orange oil. Okay, so we're done with the brine, duck breast, and spinach quinoa with orange oil. So but not to forget, your last touch is your pearl onion. So it's also giving you a nice refreshing taste over here. So because I have 2 pearl onion and slice into 2, so I have 4, so I'm using 4, so I don't want to waste it. Alright, so maybe a bit more touch of the orange onion on the skin side. So we're done with the brine duck breast and your spinach quinoa. So we end up with the result of what we have in front here. A plate of the brine duck breast and also spinach quinoa. So a quick recap about the brining liquid. So I have basically same ratio of water, vinegar, salt, and also honey. And then I have a mirepoix, which is I use 3 type of peppercorn, which is the green, black, and also the white peppercorn. And I use fresh thyme and also dried bay leaf. I combine them all together, but before that I crush the all the peppercorn and combine them into one mixing bowl, so you can straight away basically brine them. What you need to consider is at minimum you brine them for 4 hours, but it's nice result to go overnight. Okay, all right. So for the duck breast, after you brine, I remove them from the brine liquid and I pat dry. I start with a cold pan and render on the skin side. I do a bit scoring, okay, and then let it cook slowly. Don't worry, let it cook slowly, let it render the fat. When the fat come out, and then when it's really nicely brown, so you turn the other side, continue cooking, add in butter, you baste them, all right, and then what we need to achieve basically is about like 58 to 62 degrees Celsius if you really want it to be in the medium or medium well part. Okay, if you want it to be more pinky, so reduce your cooking timing a little bit, so you will have basically slightly a bit raw or medium below. Okay, so on the simple quinoa side, I use the blanched spinach to do a spinach puree. So what I have is basically the red onion, chop, and garlic. I saute them, and then I add in the quinoa, saute them for a while, add in chicken stock, followed by the cream, and lastly, I add in the spinach puree. So on the garnish part, I choose some of a refreshing ingredient, which is the tamarillo, which is the tomato. They have a bit bitterness and spiciness on the last taste. So I choose that with fresh spinach leaf, a slice of red radish to just give color, and also a blanched pearl onions to accompany with. Of course, you can select a lot of flavor profile to be paired with your brine duck breast, but I select this as a very straightforward ingredients, and for me it merged well and it's nice to consume. Okay, so I hope that it benefits you with this recipe and method. Thank you very much, and see you all more into upcoming more videos from APCA Malaysia. Keep on cooking.